Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of FranCoach's Franchising 101 series. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach, and your Franchising 101 host. Today, we are excited to bring you the March edition of our Franchisor Spotlight. In the Franchisor Spotlight, we feature one of our franchise partners, and we're going to spend the next 30 minutes or so getting a chance to take a deep dive into what they are all about. This month, we are going to hear from a franchise that is absolutely thriving in the boutique fitness industry. And yes, I said thriving, and even during a pandemic. And you may be asking, how is that possible? Well, in part because this franchise focuses on a virtually untapped segment of the fitness industry. It has the backing of an enormous parent company with thousands of franchise units throughout the fitness industry. And it is also a great franchise for those interested in multi-unit growth. Sounds pretty good, I know, but before we tell you that story, of course, we have to tell you this story. Who is FranCoach? We are a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals who are interested in owning a franchise. We are partnered with over 500 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning nearly 60 industries. Our goal is to help clients find the absolute best franchise for them to own. And our goal of the Franchising 101 series is to help educate people on all aspects of franchise ownership. That is a bit about us, but that's not what we're here for. We are ready to talk to our fantastic guest, Miss Christy Ivesell, who is the Director of Franchise Development for StretchLab. Christy, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, well, thank you for having me, Tim. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, absolutely. How's everything in wonderful Michigan today?
The sun's out. Can't complain. It's about 50 and sunny. So what more can you ask for?
Well, yeah, I was going to say March and happy St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully you're wearing something greenish
Absolutely.
for all of that. And it's 2:00 on the East Coast, 1100 on the West Coast. So I don't know if it's time for green beer yet. But maybe once we get done with this, we can grab one of those. So
Absolutely. A little early, but for sure is on the agenda for today.
as they say, it's 5:00 somewhere. So
Yep.
we'll we'll get that, and then I can say I had something green in my diet for the day. So that's the other bonus as we talk about fitness and wellness and all those good things today. We need to at least get something green. So
There you go.
that gets it. So we
Nice
have
coffee.
exactly we got a ton of questions for you, and so hopefully you're ready. But first of
Sure.
all, just tell us, what the heck is StretchLab?
Yeah, this is assisted stretching. I mean, it's just stretching. There's no gimmicks. There's no complicated equipment. There's not even any age restrictions. So I think everybody knows that stretching's good for you and that they need to stretch, but not everybody does it for one. Most people don't stretch, but they also don't know how to. And so that's what we're doing at StretchLab. I mean, up until now, assisted stretching was really only utilized by elite athletes. And then oftentimes if you were seeing a personal trainer or if you might be seeing a physical therapist, if there's time at the end of that session, you might get an assisted stretch. Well, now we're bringing it to the masses. It shouldn't be only reserved for the elite athletes. Everybody can benefit from an assisted stretch. And so we are making now this accessible to everyone.
And again, this is one of those things when you guys started working on this and we first talked about it, I kind of probably did the same thing most people did, like, really? And then you when you take a deeper dive into it, just from a consumer standpoint, it's not just the elite athlete. It could be hypothetically a 52-year-old former athlete that's really starting to feel their age, hypothetically, not like anybody here in the middle of this conversation, but the body tends to get a little stiffer as we move, and so from that consumer perspective, no matter kind of where you are with this, I mean, it taps into pretty much anybody could be a potential client with this.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the nice thing too, as I mentioned, there's no age restrictions, and there's so many different benefits and so many different reasons why our members are coming in to get an assisted stretch. I'm sure if you have that slide, we can kind of talk about who they are, but there's a few different targeted demographics that we're marketing to. We have the 20 to 40-year-olds. They're involved in different activities from CrossFit to yoga to running. There's executives. They may be runners or rowers and simply stuck behind a desk for 40 to 50 hours a week. We then also have our active seniors, some wanting to maintain, their golf game. Others just want to be able to get out of bed every morning without a challenge, and even, or just to continue to play with their grandkids. And then we also have the student athletes. But the reason why each of these individuals come in, it does vary. The athletes and the warriors, and, they're looking to improve their performance. They want to prevent injuries. Our executives are looking to decrease stress and improve their posture in relaxation. As our seniors are looking to reduce muscle pain and increase their flexibility and range of motion. So there's so many different benefits that people receive from an assisted stretch. So yeah, like including yourself, you should be coming in and getting a stretch, and you feel like $1 million when you're done. I can tell you, but yeah, so a pretty broad range of members that come in and are receiving a stretch, but for a variety of different reasons. I know my daughter, would go in to get a stretch before she played lacrosse, just because she felt that much better, to be able to play the game. So she definitely saw an improvement in her performance.
No, and without question. So and obviously we're going to get into the business model and all those type of things, but this isn't, if it's a boutique fitness brand that is, all of the others, it's pretty obvious what it is, but this isn't something that people would think about. So what would if I came in, which, and let's be honest, I should, what does a session look like? Is this one-on-one? Is this group? How does that kind of, what's that look like for me coming in as a client?
Sure. Yeah. We are providing the one-on-one assisted stretches in either 25 or 50-minute increments. So we have flexologists that are trained and certified. And so they're going to work with you first. So it's not like you'll come in and you'll just get a standard routine A through Z. You will get that full body stretch, but we're working with you to figure out what's going on and how we can help you. We even have new technology that we're utilizing that takes a look at someone's mobility and their symmetry and their posture to also help us understand how we can help that member. So the stretches are tailored to meet the needs of everybody that comes in. And again, the needs are different from member to member.
Right. So again, if I come in, right, what they're going to do with me is going to be very different than, let's say, I don't know, somebody almost my caliber of athlete, LeBron James comes in, right? It's going to be very different for LeBron, say, than me, what we're doing. So it's not a one size fits all. It's really very targeted for each person. And I'm guessing that might even change over time. Hopefully I'm less bored like a couple months down the road. And we may change up what we're doing then, correct?
Correct. And I was just going to say, so it may even change for you, after say we, assist you with what you're looking for and what you need, that could change each visit. So yes, we do assessments and we understand what our members are looking for. And then our trained flexologist will provide that assisted stretch to meet that goal.
Gotcha. And you just kicked on one of the key words from a business model standpoint, member, which then follows with the word membership, right? From that type of situation. So we're coming in maybe not daily, but we're coming in a few times a month. And we get, I'll say, kind of, you see the benefits and kind of get hooked, so to speak, with this.
Absolutely.
Right?
This is a membership model. So again, we're offering the one-on-one assisted stretches in 25 or 50-minute increments. And those are offered 4 times, 8 times each month. But you don't have to be a member to come in. We also do offer single stretches.
Okay. So why would I come to get a stretch versus maybe going to get a massage or maybe going for yoga?
Sure. I can tell you the biggest difference between a stretch and a massage is we help with mobility, flexibility, and range of motion. So there's definitely some similarities between stretch and massage when you're looking at decreasing stress and, reducing muscle soreness and things of that nature. But really the big difference is that we're assisting with the mobility, flexibility, and range of motion. And as I'm sure you can appreciate, those are extremely helpful in everyday life, especially, whether you're playing sports or not, it is very beneficial to work on those aspects.
And again, anything assisted is going to be better than not assisted. Or when you think of from an athletic standpoint, there's a reason why you have coaches, right? They're helping
Yeah.
direct what you're doing with this, right? So,
Yeah,
okay, so
yoga's great. Yeah, yoga's great. I mean, in just stretch, but like in a yoga class, you're just doing whatever poses they're asking you to do, and it's not targeted to what you may need. But it's also limited. You can't do any poses by yourself and stretching that somebody can actually do for you. So there's far more benefits and more in depth when you actually have somebody targeted on what they're doing, but also doing it for you.
awesome. Okay, so from that gives a great understanding of why we should go to StretchLab, and which is pretty clear. And then also the fact that from a consumer standpoint, basically everyone is a potential client, and we can make a pretty good case. We should all probably get our butts in there, right?
Absolutely.
So now let's look at the business side of this. What are some of when you think of like kind of boutique fitness, again, yoga, spin, row, running, or just going to the gym, there's so many different potential options out there for each of those categories because they're popular, right? Um, but Stretch Lab, there's nothing like this really out there. So, I mean, obviously, that's a huge differentiator for you, in that you're not really fighting for, hey, come to Stretch Lab versus these others 9 things that can stretch. So
Correct.
that's huge. But obviously, there are some other differentiators for this model. Talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. The nice thing, I mean, this isn't necessarily considered fitness, but can also be considered personal care and health and wellness. So this complements every form of workout. So it's not really something that someone's going to do in replace to, say, a spin class. So this complements every workout. And we have people that are come in that are not just looking to work out. I mean, they're coming in, they have tense, they have tight, they're overworked muscles. I mean, this is just a simple answer, and it is a new modality. I mean, we fall in the same category though as massage, acupuncture, and chiropractor. And so like same with those, again, you're not using those as a workout. It's more, this is a health and wellness and more personal care than fitness.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. And then I think one of the other things too, right? If we kind of, and again, you're kind of creating your own category here with this, but the physical aspect of a Stretch Lab studio is also different than other things in the boutique model. Even just kind of
Yeah.
taking a look here, and sorry for all of our podcasters that are gonna listen to this. We just have with maybe 8 or 10 kind of stretching tables, is pretty much the extent of what one of these things looks like, right?
Yeah, so you're looking at about 1,100 to 1,500 square feet. There are 10 stretch benches in there, but it is a truly boutique look and feel. You don't feel like you're walking into a practitioner's office. It's not sterile. We also do have a retail area. So we're going to be selling branded and unbranded apparel and hats and water bottles, along with stretching accessories, and a front desk. But it is, yeah, a pretty simple build out here.
Gotcha. Now we are basically a year into. I can't believe it's been a year already. This ridiculous, crazy time of ours with the pandemic. How has that kind of affected things over the last year?
Yeah, I know. I mean, everything was affected through COVID. There's no question about that. We're excited about where the next year has taken us and what we're seeing so far. Um, we were able to help, transition into a virtual world as well during the lockdown. But I mean, most of our studios, I think there might be a couple states that still haven't been able to open, but for the most part, most of our studios are back, open and operating. And we have over 100 studios that are now open.
That's fantastic. And I think for anybody starting to look at this now, if somebody came to you right now, the first conversation with them and went through the entire discovery process and what were they were awarded and you signed, and I mean, we're looking end of the year probably at the earliest to have something open. And so to kind of look at the future of this is I mean, it's a fantastic time because
Absolutely.
we're gonna be back in the situation where, I mean, some states and Arizona, I live in Arizona, so it's the freaking Wild West, man. You can do anything out here, but some other
Sure.
places it's been a little bit less, but that's going to change, and certainly by the time you
Agreed.
get around to having one of these open. So,
And we're
um,
open safely. I mean, when we opened up, we absolutely put additional precautions and safety measures, in place. And it's easy to wear a mask, while you're getting the stretch and also providing that stretch.
well, and I think much more so than yeah, I mean, I'm trying to envision if I'm gonna go get on a treadmill and run, or I'm gonna do a spin class or whatever. Also having a mask on and I'm sweating and I'm hyperventilating and all of that stuff. That's a little tougher. Where clearly, obviously, we've gotten used to just everyday life having one of those things on. In fact, I think it's kind of funny seeing somebody in a one of the surgical masks that we were all struggling to find 10, 11 months ago. You don't see people wearing those anymore because we all have, four different colors and
Yeah.
brands or logos or everything now. So a little bit easier to make that happen. So,
Yeah.
and obviously very low overhead and equipment, certainly from a fitness perspective. So what are some things you look for in an owner? Obviously, I'm guessing your owner isn't the one in there doing the stretching. So talk a little bit about what their role is and what are some things you look for in an owner.
Absolutely. So most of our franchisees do take this on semi-absentee. So it is really built for semi-absentee ownership, multi-units. We of course offer, single unit awards as well. But most are taking it on, maintaining corporate positions, either looking for additional, revenue streams or an exit strategy. But they're hiring on a GM that's going to be managing the day to day. And so we want somebody though that's going to be passionate about the business, but also willing to follow the model. That typically they're looking to go with a franchise because they want that, a system and a business model, but they also need to be willing to follow the model. And so we have franchise owners with a wide range of backgrounds. So it doesn't matter what that background is. We're not looking for somebody that comes in that has any type of fitness experience or, involved in health and wellness industry at all. And it doesn't matter. Again, we're providing now the training, the support, for the owners as well as their general managers. So no, they're not working on the business. They're not working in the business. They're working on it. And so they're really managing the financials and things in the behind the scenes.
Okay, awesome. And so all of this sounds again, I think is easy to see the potential and the way you can really grow something like this and build a huge business, especially when you start looking at those multi-unit opportunities. Talk maybe just really kind of high level from an investment standpoint, and I'll give the disclaimer anytime we do the spotlights and we talk anything money. All of this will eventually come out as we go through a franchise disclosure document. You'll get a chance to talk to owners, and obviously there's some ranges here. But maybe kind of talk us through anything we need to know from an investment perspective.
Sure. So that investment range, 171, 172 up to 290. And the biggest variation when that is, typically going to come within the real estate and the build out. Because obviously the cost of rent is going to vary from market to market, as well as what that build out expense may look like. It depends not only on market, but what type of condition is that space in prior to construction.
And all things that I think it's important to just kind of remind folks, part of the franchisor support is going to come in those things: site selection, all the negotiation, things of that nature. And you can make a case that I'm guessing you're seeing some owners that are getting better terms from that just because there's a little bit more space available right now. Would that be pretty accurate for you guys right now?
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of opportunity within real estate. There are a lot of concepts, not just fitness, but retail concepts that we're not able to make it through the pandemic. So there's a lot of opportunity within real estate right now. Probably the first shift in the last probably 8 years. So obviously we can't guarantee that every market's going to see that, or it's how long this is going to last. But right now, yes, we're seeing a lot of opportunity within real estate. And we assist through that entire process. I mean, we provide complete franchise fulfillment and support in every aspect, and it does start with that real estate, helping them find approved sites. We are looking for retail, typically where there's an anchor store of, say, a daily need, like a grocery store or a pet store.
Gotcha. And just to kind of give people a perspective, that investment range, I mean, we're the high end, we're looking at, high twos, 280, 290, something like that. Other type of things in the boutique fitness standpoint, I mean, that's incredibly low. You're looking at maybe another 100,000 plus sometimes, just from all of the stuff you need from an equipment perspective. So from anything that has a retail component to it, this is really low from what you can do, which makes it easy for folks to look at things, to looking at having multiple units for really from a growth perspective down the road. So that's good. And one other thing of this, we'd kind of just maybe alluded to just a little bit, but StretchLab is part of a much larger organization, Exponential Fitness. So maybe
It
just take a moment, tell us about this and how this benefits franchise owners.
Absolutely. So Exponential Fitness started with Club Pilates. So Anthony Geisler is our CEO and founder, and he started with Club Pilates back in 2015 and grew that. And today I think we've awarded over 900 territories and have over 600 locations open. So Anthony then in 2017 decided to add on some additional concepts as well and implement the same model that he created for Club Pilates. So underneath Exponential, we have Yoga 6, AKT, Cycle Bar, Pure Bar, Row House, of course, StretchLab. And then we also have an eighth, soon to be ninth category, but our eighth concept is Stride, which is a treadmill based workout. So we have experience across all the brands, and not only does somebody benefit from the team at StretchLab, but from Exponential, because our presidents are meeting on a regular basis. They're sharing ideas, they're sharing best practices, as well as we're launching an X Pass, which is an additional membership that somebody can obtain, which would give them access to all 8, soon to be 9 verticals. So we do anticipate making an announcement, I think, by the end of the month with the 9th vertical, and Anthony's even talked about getting to 10 sometime this year.
So, way to kind of position yourself to come back on future franchisor spotlights to talk about those new ones or any or any of these other ones. So, because
Great.
it really, and that's, I think, again, the cool part of Stretch, right, is that you could be going to Row House or Cycle Bar or any of those, and then still also come into Stretch Lab to just again the health, the wellness, help your body, help your performance, whatever that might be. So.
Absolutely. Like I say, and you don't even need to be working on, like, again, there's such a wide range of members and a wide variety of reasons why people do come in and get a stretch and all the various benefits. So it's very complimentary.
Very cool. This has all been fantastic and just tons of info, but is there maybe anything we didn't cover? Anything else you would want us to know about StretchLab, about Exponential Fitness that maybe we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, no, I think we covered most of everything. But again, I mean, Exponential, fitness, I mean, we're continuing to expand and grow. And there's so many benefits learning from 8 different brands, underneath one umbrella. And with that X Pass giving somebody the ability to, access and try out new concepts. I mean, it's hard to compete with that. So there's a lot of support and training that we provide, again, not just from each brand, because every brand has their own team, but also, again, through Exponential.
And we talked about StretchLab as a great multi-unit owner opportunity. But throughout the whole Exponential, we could be owning multiple brands as well, right?
We do. So most franchisees have multi-units, but we also do have franchise owners that have multi-brands. So that's absolutely something that, we can work with your candidates with and explore what option might be best for them.
Very cool. Christy, this has been fantastic. So I greatly appreciate you joining us today to talk about StretchLab and teasing us a little bit about some of the other things within Exponential Fitness. So thanks for joining us.
Well, I really appreciate you having me. It's great being here, and I look forward to doing this again in the future and tackling another concept.
Well, we'd definitely love to have you back. We'll have to do that. And I am personally excited to kind of hear you've been teasing me for a couple months with number 9 and number 10 without telling me. I was hoping maybe, we have you on, maybe you would drop something, but you're not going to do it. So that's fine.
Next week, because I think it's coming soon. Yeah. It's coming soon, but I promise you will be the first one to hear from me as soon as I know.
Very cool. Well, excellent. Well, we appreciate that. And thank everybody for joining us today. And hopefully this will help enlighten those interested in franchise ownership to some of the amazing possibilities that are out there. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a franchise owner for StretchLab or for any of the 500 plus brands we are partnered with, then let's schedule a brief introductory call. You can find us online at FranCoach.net or any of the social media sites that you may look at. For our podcast listeners, be sure to subscribe to the Franchising 101 series wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Again, there's never any fee for our service. So we encourage you to take that first step today to help create your better tomorrow. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Stay safe, and we hope to connect soon. Have a great day.